It's a deck that's capable of putting a large presence onto the battlefield, so you don't have to do the incremental damage stuff that allows them to play into Death Shadow. You can just get them kind of low, build up a massive battlefield, and go wide in one hit. The Grixis Death Shadow deck is a little inefficient, game number one. A lot of discard spells, not a whole lot of spot removal. That's not great. And Reflector Mage, particularly alongside Aether Vial, is just a tricky thing for Death Shadow to beat. Your creatures require a lot of investment, either working your life total down in the case of Death Shadow, or a big expenditure of resources out of your graveyard in the case of Gurmag Angler. And Reflector Mage is a ton of tempo, and the creatures are not the opportunity cost of playing them the first time means that having to wait a turn and then redeploy them is often too big of a tempo loss to recover from.
Well, these players will take a look at their opening hands now, see if they're happy with their 7s. You can already see for Chris, he's got a Noble Hierarch. He's got the one thing that you need when you're playing this signage strategy, which is a 1-drop. That's where you want to get things started. Now, it looks like his only land is a Horizon Canopy, so if that 1-drop is killed, he may have some real difficulty functioning. And that 1-drop also in Noble Hierarch doesn't allow him to cast all of his spells, so it looks like he's going to send that hand back. Look for something a little bit better. No walk.
How do you feel about that mulligan?
I think because, if it's Ziggurat or unclaimed territory, it's a keep. The fact that it's Horizon Canopy makes it a little bit worse. Yes, there's less spot removal in the format, but your Horizon Canopy plus Noble Hierarch draw doesn't mean, you can't cast your Kitesail Freebooter.
Right.
Which may matter a little bit. Depending on what your next land is that you draw, you might not be able to cast Mantis Rider. And so I'm okay with sending this back. Again, the London Mulligan is something I'm a fan of. So, though this hand doesn't look great, it's got a Vial. One land on the play that, he's on the draw.
Yeah, play versus draw is if you knew what you're playing against. Because on the draw, that initial 7 is vulnerable to discard spells as well. Mm-hmm. On the play, you at least get to cast your Hierarch. But I like that mulligan on the draw.
I like that mulligan on the draw. Keeping this hand is pretty difficult because you are one land Vial, and Noah, I believe, is going to fire off an Inquisition and take your Vial.
Yeah, but how many of your 5-card hands are good against turn 1 Inquisition?
I agree with that. It also depends if you know what you're playing against.
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, when you're on the draw, you need to have a 1-drop. It's unacceptable to start on turn 2. If your 1-drop gets taken by a discard spell, so be it, like it's about to right now. Or let's say, I expect Noah to. Unless his hand's cooking up something where he can kill a Vial with something like a Kolaghan's Command and make Chris discard as well. Yeah, that's a pretty easy choice. Noah also going to deploy a Bauble and pass the turn back. Best draw here for Chris would be another Vial. Did not find one. Picked up a copy of Meddling Mage, so we'll pass the turn back over to Walker. Walker's going to fire off the Bauble. Take a look at the top card of his deck. He'll Thought Scour himself, so he's not no interest in another Bauble. He'll draw a card, pick up a copy of Street Wraith. He'll cycle that right away. Noah's zoned in when he's playing quickly. He generally always plays pretty fast in the first place, but this is a kid who plays very, very good high-level Magic very, very quickly. Something you don't always see here on the SCG Tour is he'll sacrifice a polluted Delta. Might be a Blood Crypt on the way.
Yeah, I would say among our top players, definitely the fastest pace of play.
Yeah, the only other person that really compares to me is Todd.
Right.
When Todd is locked in, he'll really get moving. Yeah, there's a 1/1 Death Shadow. We'll head back over to Chris. Chris needs a land to even function. That is probably game over, truth be told. Because Noah's got plenty of other things to do, and he'll start off with a Thoughtseize. Grow the Death Shadow, take your most relevant card. You're 2 lands away from playing Reflector Mage. Meddling Mage is never going to trade favorably with Death Shadow. So, with that in mind, there's a case for taking Phantasmal Image.
Right, I mean, yeah, I guess stringing together land drops and a Chump Walker along the way is Barone's best shot of stabilizing this, so takes the Reflector Mage, but
that made it harder.
Yeah. Well, there you have it.
Yeah. Death Shadow is very, very punishing And Noah is looking to get this game over with real fast as Chris will draw. Oh, another Horizon Canopy. Oh, lucky day. True, land 2 and can't cast a spell.
Not helping with those Manus Riders either.
We'll go back over to Noah. He'll bobble himself. Take a look at the top card of his deck. Maybe he wants to thought scour this one away right now as well. And he will. So, 2 cards go to the graveyard. It was the Royal Scions. Now he'll cycle a Street Wraith. And now he'll draw once again. He's found a fetch. This grows to Death Shadow as he falls down to 8 and maybe even a little bit lower than that. It'll be 5, making Death Shadow an 8/8. Walker will get himself a Steam Vents, make sure he can get that land with Polluted Delta, which he can. And the hand right now for Noah Walker is Fatal Push and Stubborn Denial, which is just how you draw it up, as it were.
And now I think with that hit,
oh, I like it. I like it, Chris. Take some damage, big guy. That is that. Noah Walker's going to very quickly win game number 1 here over Chris Barone. It is Grixis Death Shadow very quickly up a game there over Humans. Inquisition of Kozilek takes a vial, and you're all done. Not too tough, huh?
No. Easy mode.
We'll go to Chris's sideboard. You'll find 3 copies of Auriok Champion, 3 Ravenous Trap, 2 Deputy Attention, 2 Dismember, 2 Collector Oof, a Knight of Autumn, a Gaddock Teague, and a Plague Engineer.
I like bringing in the 2 copies of Dismember here as an answer to Gurmag Angler and sometimes Death Shadow. Watching him play this matchup yesterday against Mueller, I think he also brought in his Auriok Champions.
Which I would as well.
Yeah. So I think you'll see those 5.
Pro Black, good against Death Shadow, good against the Gurmag Angler and the removals. Of course, can't block Snapcaster Mage, but that doesn't come up a ton. As we go to Noah's side, he's got 2 Mystical Dispute, 2 Drown in the Lock, 2 Collective Brutality, 2 Plague Engineer of his own, 2 Dampening Sphere, and 5 one-ofs in Liliana the Veil, Disdainful Stroke, a Braid, Engineered Explosives, and old Kolaghan's Command.
I like Kolaghan's Command, Engineered Explosives, a Braid, and the 2 copies of Drown in the Lock. Just a little bit more removal.
Drown in the Lock is no joke. That's a Magic card right there. I'll tell you what. And a darn good one. Whew. That was a quick game. Didn't expect that one to be so quick. But Noah Walker was moving and grooving that game, that's for sure, while Chris was staying put. We're going to talk about the SCG Creature Collection right now and how it affects game night, where every week in November you can get the newest member of the Creature Collection. It's outfoxed on tokens and sleeves. Now, I know it looks like a fox, but it's an elf token, in fact. And Patrick's going to tell you how you can get SCG Game Night at your local store.
Well, first order of business, you head over to go.sarcygames.com/game night and find the game night closest to you. Every month, stores sign up for game night. Sarcy Games sends out kits with these tokens and sleeves to the stores that are signed up, and then the store can run their game night however they want to, any day of the week, any format they want, whatever serves their player base the best to get some people in the store on a regular basis for some fun and friendly Magic. This is a November kit, outfoxed, available in tokens and sleeves. Again, go.sarcygames.com/game night. Find the game night closest to you, and stores you want to get signed up for game night, contact your Sarcy Games in-store play representative. Additionally, outfoxed available playmats, sleeves, and player bundles over at go.sarcygames.com/creature collection.
Noah Walker, Chris Barone. You see the records here. 11-2 for Noah. Chris is 12-0-1. Very close locking up a top 8 berth is Chris. Even if you were to lose the next 3, he might still be in with good tiebreakers. But for Noah, in his 11-2 record, many accolades for the young man. In 2019 Opens play, there were 6. Open top 8s, 2 this year for Noah. The 23-year-old from Amherst, Massachusetts, has 13 top 8s all time with 3 wins. Most of his work is done in Legacy when he's not peeing his pants at a pre-release, of course.
Come on, that was like over 10 years ago. Come on. It's over 10 years ago.
In the infamous words of Jonah Hill from Superbad, people don't forget. Okay?
I haven't seen it.
Oh my. It's only the best movie of our generation.
Really?
Yes. It's not even close.
You and I are not part of the same generation.
Even you would find this movie to be humorous, I believe.
Even me, I find plenty of movies to be funny.
Do you?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
A great movie. A coming-of-age tale is what it is. Do you like... you probably hate Michael Cera. You probably don't enjoy him at all. Do you like Michael Cera? Arrested Development?
I enjoyed Arrested Development. It's one of those... it's just the same joke over and over again.
Yeah, yeah.
The joke is really funny.
For him or Arrested Development?
Sort of more specifically for him.
Okay.
But the show in general. Actually, that's not fair. I think the show is pretty funny and kind of diverse in the way that the jokes get over. His character is a little one-dimensional. But, you know, it's a funny joke.
Jonah Hill, Bill Hader, Seth Rogen. There's some good people in that movie. Solid. Big fan.
You know who makes me laugh?
Who's that?
John Malkovich in Burn After Reading. That character makes me laugh.
It's a very fun character.
Yeah.
We're underway here in game number 2. An Ancient Zigger out there for Chris. For Noah, he's got a fetch land, and he'll get himself a water grave down to 17. Thoughtsy is going to bring him down to 15. He'll take a card. No surprise there to see a Thalia. If he's keeping if he's keeping a hand with no turn 1 play, then his turn 2 play is almost certainly Thalia because Freebooter and Meddling Mage are not strong enough for that.
Right. Owen Wilson in the Royal Tenenbaums. That character makes me laugh.
Probably good. Cathari asking at home, thoughts on Plague Engineer versus humans? I noticed you didn't think Noah should bring it in and was seeking more information. I think the Plague Engineer is fine against humans. Obviously, 2/2 Death Touch and making the creature a little bit smaller is pretty good, but I don't think it's great.
Right, and 3 mana is a pretty, that's a big ask for Noah's deck. It's not like you get there all the time. I think he might have just picked up a Plague Engineer as his draw step. I think it's a fine card to bring in. I just think the 3 mana cards are just a really high opportunity cost for a deck that regularly doesn't make its 3rd land drop.
Here's a Thought Scour. Well, Vial was the draw set there for Chris, and I do like getting that on the battlefield. Of course, his other cards were just copies of Phantasmal Image, but having a Vial on the battlefield is pretty important here, so that's up to 1 counter. He's drawn another copy of Vial, and now he's probably going to go towards Mantis Rider. So the 3/3 flyer is in the house. Walker has a Fatal Push with Revolt, thanks to the Bloodstained Mire.
I'll say this about Plague Engineer. I like it a lot more on the play than on the draw.
I'm with you on that one.
Because when you're on the draw, the likelihood that the humans deck just outsizes Plague Engineer by such a degree that it doesn't really do anything, a lot higher. When you're on the play, if you make your land drops easy, you might actually snag something valuable.
Yep.
But also a lot of this just depends on how much you want to sideboard out. You know, do you get away from all of your discard spells? Do you hedge a little bit? Is Temur Battle Rage getting cut? You know, the more that you want to take out 6 or 7 cards instead of 4 or 5, the more that some of your fringe sideboard cards become more attractive.
Now we're going to elect to get a Snow-Covered Swamp here and instead of a Blood Crypt or another copy of Watery Grave, so going to keep his life total a little bit higher as he keeps moseying along. He'll sacrifice the Bauble, take a look at the top card of his deck. And now he will play a Watery Grave, and maybe it's time for that Plague Engineer. There it is. The carrier is here naming humans. That means that Chris's humans will get a little bit smaller. Now, there are a lot of cards that this shuts off now, which is worth noting. Oriot Champion is one of them.
Right. I mean, you can question the efficacy of this card and you know, sort of the matchup overall. This is a fantastic spot for it. If you keep the battlefield clear, it just shuts off so many of the ways to catch up. If they're sideboarding an Oriot Champion against you, then that's cut off. So you've played a lot of humans. You like Oriot Champion in this matchup?
It's fine.
It's fine.
I don't think it's an ace. It's fine. I mean, now these Mantis Riders aren't. They're not 3 power. They're just 2 power. However, Walker's got to deal with them. And Walker's already used a copy of Fatal Push. So does he have plenty of removal left and or Snapcaster Mages to slow this down?
Well, the Snapcaster Mage even needs help, right? Because the Fatal Push doesn't... I guess you get the...
you get the image.
You get the image.
Yeah. Also, if that Plague Engineer decides to rumble into the red zone, you might have some interest in blocking. Blood Crypt. Aggressive. Block, block, block. Yeah, but... Oh, no.
Oh, no!
Oh,
no. That is everything.
That's
Noah, Noah, chill out. Chill out. These are some turns. How about I tap out every turn for the best possible, best possible, best possible.
Yo, Auriok Champion online, though.
Oh, yeah.
Bang. I mean, that's good against the Angler right now.
Yep.
Walker. He'll Thought Scour himself. Dismember. Bloodstained Mire go to the bin. Looks like he may have picked up a land.
Noah's going to find some way to trade the Snapcaster Mage off for the Auriok Champion and get something else for his money.
Yeah, of course. He'll pass the turn back. Snapcaster and lands in hand. Vial up to 1.
You know, pretty good spot to attack. Got to get the game.
No.
Got to get the game over with.
No.
You can race here.
Nah, I'd rather play more turns. I've got good draws, but I'd just play more turns. Chris, hang steady. Hang steady, big guy.
Sorry.
It's even more enticing because he has a hierarchy in his hand, so it would be an attack for 2.
I can see into the future. This poor Auriok Champion. Oh yeah. It's happening. It's happening. Noah's going to get a fatal push for his trouble.
No!
He's going to get a fatal push for his trouble.
No, please.
I can see into the future. And what I see...
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Is that Auriok Champion is going to trade with a Snapcaster.
You better gain your life, Chris. That's dead. Dan Angler's coming in.
You thought Noah was letting you off the hook there.
Yep.
With that Plague Engineer trade.
Bobble himself. Bang. Come on, he's always got it. He's never not had it. Hang tough. Hang back. I do think Chris missed his life gain trigger from the Snapcaster coming in. He gained the life from the Noble Hierarch to go to 21, and then didn't go to 22. That just might matter.
Yep.
That point, hey, every point matters when you're playing against Death Shadow. Trust me. Both on their side and yours. He'll play a Delta, draw a card from the Bauble. Chris has got a Vial on 2. Now, this is one of those games where as Chris is going to draw lands, it's going to need to start being those Horizon lands. Can't be all the other ones, for lack of a better term.
Yep. All of his land drops, he's got to be able to convert into spells at
yes,
this point.
He cannot afford to not draw spells right now. Now, obviously, his best friend is Mantis Rider, but I will say that Phantasmal Image on a Gurmag Angler is no slouch. Now, I would play one of these lands. I don't need to play the other one because you want to be able to play a Canopy, sack it, and then maybe cast a spell that you find. That's important.
A little padding for Kolagon's command as well.
Yes. There's a Death Shadow. It's an 8/8. So lethal this turn. Cool. Good start. Reflector's a good start. He has a Snapcaster again. Come on.
Yeah. Reflector Mage.
Snapcaster again?
Reflector Mage, I'm excited to see how this won't matter.
Yeah. Come on. Listen, never not have it guy over here?
Yeah.
Jeez. I got to bounce Death Shadow.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
You know.
That's got to leave. All right, go ahead. Noah going to untap. Draw.
Patient with the Snapcaster Mage. Really powerful insurance.
Yeah, no reason to move, really. Chris is going to fall down to 6. Put that Vial on 3, I think. I think you need a little instant speed help. Okay. See, I kind of... So there's a reason to leave it on 2. There's a reason to leave it on 3.
Phantasmal Image is the big one.
Yes. That's a big reason to leave it on 2. A lot of your disruption is at 2. Leaving it on 3, putting it at 3 gives you the opportunity to instant speed a Reflector. There might be some value in that. Let's see what we got here. All right, there's Snappy. K-Command. K-Command's not a bad choice. Have to take some damage to do it.
Yeah, if he still has a basic to fetch for, he can get Kolagon's command, block, shock the Reflector Mage, and blow up the Vial or whatever.
Reflector. Okay, so it looks like he may have taken the damage. Yeah, he went down to 3 and he got reflectored. All right, so He's going to scour himself. That was the target. Draw on the lock, and a land are going to go to the graveyard. He'll draw a card. It was a copy of Street Wraith, which is a stinker. Drew a Thought Scour. He can deploy Death Shadow. He'll start there. He can't play Angler.
He's got a removal spell and a chump blocker, even if something were to happen to the Death Shadow, so his position's still not bad.
What's the removal spell? What am I missing?
Dismember, I thought he had.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Cast.
Yeah, you're right. Vial the draw? Or excuse me, Thalia the draw. And pass. Okay. Also interesting is the fetch land that's still on the battlefield here for Walker. Does he have lands he can search for? Does he?
Can you check? Does he? He might have. Maybe
he may have milled over a lot of them.
Yep.
Yeah. There's an Angler. Does he even want to sack? There's another copy of Death Shadow. Where do we put this vial? Looks like we're going to leave it there.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that Noah needs to protect himself against is a Mantis Rider.
Yep, which I think he's done a nice job of so far. Canopy, sack it, draw a card. Vial is a stinker. Now what Noah can do, because he's slowed down, he can speed back up again, and he can play this game more aggressively. Dismember your creature, get it out of the way, try to lethal you with one of these Death Shadows. He's already played a land for the turn, so he can't do that.
Right.
So we'll have to make him pick up that unclaimed territory because he played a Horizon Canopy. So we can fix that. That's easy.
But, you know, there's a question of what is the most threatening thing that Barone can do now with the Vial. I suppose is Phantasmal Image.
Yep. It's definitely Phantasmal Image.
So you can play it super safe and just send in the 2 copies of Death Shadow. Barone has a Phantasmal Image, you'll see it. And if he doesn't, he's just dead next turn, so who cares?
Yes. Also, what Noah has the ability to do is that if Barone activates his Vial, you respond to that. You kill the Reflector, because the scariest thing he can do is image the Reflector.
Right.
You know, the other 2s don't matter. It's Freebooter, Meddling Mage, blah, 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 blah. None of the cards are good. Yep, none of the cards are good.
Yep.
Delving an Angler onto the battlefield. Now, you know, a fear here for Noah would be like if he images my Angler now, but, you know, he's still fine in that regard. There's Noble Hierarch, and that is going to do it. Noah Walker puts on a master class, as he oftentimes does with these tempo-y strategies. He wins this match 2-0. Grixis